All right, guys, let's get some NCAA basketball picks and props for Sunday, February 25th slate of games. Trey, let's take a look at our leaderboard. How you start us off?
Yeah, guys, 0-1 again on the game picks. I gave out Northern Arizona minus 2.5 against Idaho. This game was tough. Northern Arizona, they were up by 15 points pretty early in this game, and then after that point, seemingly decided just to stop playing basketball. They were down by 2 points entering halftime, and then their coach absolutely ripped them in the halftime press conference. So I thought that, they're going to come out strong in the second half. Was not the case. They ended up losing by 10 points.
Yeah, and I had a 1-0 day. I gave out UConn at home, minus 11.5 going up against Villanova. The spot game for UConn, bad spot for Villanova. It was actually kind of playing with their food for the majority of the game until the 8-minute mark. UConn turned it on. They won the game by 24 points. So kind of a no-sweat bet down the stretch, but very sweaty for the rest of the game. Trey, let's go to the player props. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, and I was 0-1 on the player props as well. That's because I gave out Terrence Shannon to go over 22.5 points versus Iowa. Everything was on the board for him to dominate in this game, but he only scored 12 points. He just was not very aggressive, was only 4 for 10 from the field. He dominates on the road, just not at home, so we need to take note of that.
Yeah, and I gave out Antonio Reeves over 22.5 points at plus money going up against Alabama. This was one of those games where you want to watch every single second because it felt like nobody can miss, especially for Kentucky. Antonio, he had 24 points. He only shot 10 times. He was very effective from the field, and he cashed in on his trips to the charity stripe. So he did go 1-0 with that play there. Trey, let's go to the group play. A clean sweep here. If you remember, it was Baylor going up against Houston. Houston was minus 2.5. I did say Baylor plus 2.5. But I also said if Langston Love's not playing, I'm switching to Houston. I did switch to Houston. Houston takes it in overtime. Very exciting game for the early tip-off at 11 o'clock. So we do sweep the board there. Trey, let's go to the group play for tomorrow. Back to the Big Ten here. Ohio State. I love Ohio State, by the way. Red hot right now. Getting 9.5 at Michigan State, over under 137.5. Have you start?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. 9.5 points is a lot. But whenever we look at the history of whenever these two teams do play at Michigan State, they do dominate that. But this is a different Michigan State team. This is a different Ohio State team. Like Bear said, this Buckeyes team's coming in this game with some momentum. And I think that it's going to continue here in this game. Give me Ohio State. I'm going to take them at plus 9.5 here in this game. I feel like their offense is going to be able to do enough here in this Michigan State game to keep up because it's just Tyson Walker and nobody else really that scares me on this Spartans offense. And Ohio State, they've been playing some really good basketball ever since they fired their coach. Interim coach bump might be real in college basketball. So I'm going to keep siding with the Buckeyes until I see something else.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Ohio State plus 9.5. I don't care what the trends say. I don't care how good Michigan State's at home. I don't care how many times they've beat this Ohio State team. This is a different Ohio State team with Jake Diebler. He's got his boys playing hard every single second until the clock strikes zero. They're coming off that big game against Purdue. Then they had a letdown spot against Minnesota. But I watched the last 4 minutes of that Minnesota game. They were down by 17 points. They were constant press for 4 straight minutes, and they cut the game to 8 points. The game lasted forever. They battled the entire way through. So I love a team like that, especially with the big cover here. So I'm going to take them plus 9.5. I think they're going to fight to the end, especially even if they're down by 20-plus points. I'm still going to be confident in Ohio State towards the end of the game. They're going to try the entire game. I love Ohio State here plus 9.5 as the play. We're going to sweep there. Trey, let's go to the plays for tomorrow. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be talking about this Loyola going up against Boston University game. And this is going to be an entertaining game to watch, even if both teams have kind of had below average season so far. But one team is significantly worse than the other. Loyola, they come in this game with a 6-22 record. They're also 10-17 ATS. And the Greyhounds, they are 5-11 on the road this year. That's earned them the 16th worst ranking in the KenPom. In Boston, they entered this game with a 12-16 record. They're also 10-15-2 ATS. And the Terriers, they're 6-6 at home. That's earned them the 69th worst ranking in the KenPom. And these two teams, they've already played once this year, and that game was at Loyola in Boston. They won that game by 2 points. And the last 2 times these two teams have played in Boston, they won both those games by an average score of 71-58. So winning that games by an average of 13 points per game. So Boston, they're the better team, and they're the home team. That's all I need to know. Give me Boston here, minus 7.5 here in this game. And I feel like they're going to control this game from the beginning to the end. That's because they have one of the best defenses in the country. They only allow an average of 65.3 points per game. That's the 29th lowest in the nation. And whenever we parlay that with Loyola, they are just terrible on the offensive end. They struggle to score. They only average 64.5 points per game. That's the 12th lowest average in the country. So Loyola, they struggle to score, In Boston, they have one of the best defenses in the country. I feel like that's going to really push us to a great cover here in this game in a Boston domination station. So give me Boston University minus 7.5 against Loyola.
Yeah, Trey, I do like the play, but I think I'm supposed to say I hate it because someone in the comments said I like all your plays. So I hate that play for you. For my play today, I'm going to be looking at FAU travel to take on the Memphis Tigers. It's well documented that I do not like Penny Hardaway Jr. as the head coach. I think he's a very bad head coach. I think this Memphis Tigers team as a whole needs a lot of help for them to get better in the future, even though they have a ton of talent. I'm going to trust them, though, in this game to score some points. We're going to win the over 157.5 points scored in this game. Memphis at home, they're a better team. I'm going to say that about them. I know I talk a lot of crap about this Memphis team, but they are very good at home. They're currently 11-2 at home, and they are averaging over 80 points per game scored on their home floor. The defense this season has still been atrocious. Nobody on that side of the ball gives any sort of effort. They're giving up 75.6 points per game this year. But again, they showed me something against Charlotte. They did look a little bit better on that side of the ball, but at times, Charlotte does struggle to score. But a team that does not struggle to score is FAU. They lead this conference in points per game. They now scored 80-plus points in 4 consecutive. And on the season, they're scoring 83.3 points per game, number 13 in the nation. And on defense, they're just as bad as Memphis. They're giving up 72.7 points per game. This has a feeling much like that Alabama game did yesterday, except maybe not as many points. I don't think they're going to score 215. But I do think both of these teams are going to be 80-plus point range. So give me the over 157.5 as the play. Trey, let's go 158.5. Sorry, I went up a point. Let's go over to the player props. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to go with Mr. Reliable here. Give me Jahmir Young to go over 19.5 points going up against Rutgers. I really love this over for Young here in this game because, in my opinion, we're going to see him dominate and have a great game. I recently faded Rutgers when I took Edie's over a couple days ago, and Edie, he smashed the over for us here in that game. So I'm not nervous about going up against this tough Rutgers defense, and I expect Young to do the same for us here in this one. That's because Young, he's simply been that dude for the Terrapins this year, and I have to expect that to continue for a few reasons. The first reason is he dominates on the road this year. In fact, all of his shooting splits go up whenever he's on the road because Young, he plays more minutes, he takes more shots, and he's shooting more efficiently on the road. And that's turned into an average of 23.4 points per game, which is over this number. And Young, he only scored 16 points in his first matchup versus Rutgers this season. So I expect him to come in this game with a little bit of an extra juice because Maryland, they need to start stringing together wins. They probably need to win the Big Ten to make the tournament. And Young, he needs to keep turning it up as the season progresses. And over his last 6 games, he's done that. Because Young, he's averaging 23.7 points per game over that span, which is also way over this number. So give me Jahmir Young. I'm going to take him over 19.5 points versus Rutgers.
Yeah, Trey, I like the play there. For my play today, I'm going to be looking at Baylor Scheierman to go over his total points going up against St. John's. I've given out Baylor a couple times over the last 2 or 3 weeks. He has not disappointed me yet. So I'm going back to him in this game on the road against St. John's. On the season, Baylor has been the best scorer for this Creighton team. He's pouring in 18.4 points per game. He's shooting 45.7% from the field, and he has a career high in three-pointers made this season. He's coming off a really bad game against Connecticut where they won that game by 20-plus points, but he only had 12 points in the game. He dealt with some foul trouble. Before that game, he'd scored 26-plus points in 3 of the last 5, and he's been in double-digit points in every single game but one since December 13th. St. John's is coming into this game with a pretty effective offense, but the defense has been struggling just a little bit, giving up 71.4 points per game. And Creighton, they love to eat up teams from the outside. They love to take a ton of threes. In the first game between these two teams back in January, Baylor scored 17 points, but he only hit 1 of his 6 threes. This is way too good of a shooter to have another bad performance like that. It was actually his worst shooting performance from deep all season long. I like him to bounce back from that UConn game, and he's going to shoot a lot better in this game in the second time around against the Johnnies defense. Give me Baylor Scheierman to go over his total points against St. John's as the play. Trey, let's go over those player props. Let's go over the graphic. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I'm going with Boston here, minus 7.5 against Loyola. Boston, they're the better team. They're at home. They already went into Loyola this year and walked out with the win. So I expect nothing different here with this home game. Also going with Jahmir Young over 19.5 points versus Rutgers. Jahmir Young, he's been putting Maryland on his back all season long, especially on the road. So this is going to be another game.
Love that guy. I'm going with FAU versus Memphis over 158.5 points now. I think both teams are going to be in the 80s. And then Baylor Scheierman over his total points against St. John's, probably going to be 18.5, 19.5 when it comes out. Still going to smash the over when that play does drop. Guys, that's going to do it for the NCAA basketball plays and props for Sunday, February 25th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like in this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching. Well, we also have 12,000 subs coming right around the bend. We're at 10,200. We're going to give away 2 tickets to anybody to any game they want, NBA, NFL, college basketball. It doesn't matter. We can wait until the new season for NFL. Any game you want to go, whenever we get to 12K, we're going to have that giveaway coming up as well. We also have a new game. It's going to be Trey and myself versus the Bear Pack. You can call it Pros versus Joes if you want. I don't really like the name because I don't consider us pros. I don't consider you guys Joes. But Trey, if you want to go to the YouTube channel, this is how you guys play. You're going to go to our YouTube channel. You're going to hit the community tab. We've been in the community tab a lot this season. You're going to go to the community tab. We have our plays for the day. So obviously the intro is not going to have plays for today, but these are our plays for our next video. It's the Pelicans -2.5, the Heat -5, Quinnipiac -4.5, and Wisconsin -10.5. Those are Trey's and myself's plays. What you guys are going to do is pick which one you think will not hit, meaning you're going to fade us, which is Pros versus Joes, which is the game called, but you guys are going to try to pick which one is not going to hit. If you guys win, you're going to get a point. If we win, we're going to get a point. We're going to run it Friday through Friday every single week. Whichever team has the most wins, so 4-3, 6-2, whatever it is, that person or group will win $50. If the community wins, we're going to do a wheel spin for the community. If we win, I don't know how we're going to get our cheddar, but you guys are just going to have to subscribe, I guess, more. But that's the game. Hopefully everybody understands it. Trey, let's get into the video. Look at the leaderboard. We had multiple questions this morning about how to become a member for the YouTube channel. Let's do that really quick tutorial. You're going to go to youtube.com. You're going to go to Bears Profit Plays. You're going to search it in. You're going to hit our thing. There's a join button right just to the right of subscribe. You can click that. There's two options. You have the Bear Pack for $4.99. That gives you access to YouTube member plays. And then you have the Bear Pack Gold for $7.99 a month. That gives you access to our member plays on YouTube. And it gives you a 1-month membership to our website, bearsprofitplays.com. So if you get the Bear Pack Gold, you save yourself $2 a month. A little bit cheaper if you want to do that. But that is the tutorial for anybody that needed it. We had multiple questions today through email about how to do it, and it wasn't working. But if you want to know, there it is right there. Trey,